weekend, we had Wooper Community Day, and this event actually had the debut of a brand new Pokemon, which is of course Clodsire. Now, there was a lot of hype within the Go Battle League for this Pokemon, mainly because it has some incredibly bulky stats, as well as some really hard-hitting charge attacks. But unfortunately, it also received a lot of nerfs before it was released, so a lot of that hype died down. But after trying it out in the Go Battle League, after getting one, I have to tell you, it is still a really good Pokemon, and I'm going to be explaining why. Alright, so with that said, let's get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon Go video. Alright, so we're going to be talking about Clodsire because this Pokemon is set to be one of the best Pokemon for the Go Battle League, especially now in a meta that's full of Pokemon that are really weak against it. So what am I talking about here? Well, Clodsire has a very unique type combination of ground and poison, and there's a lot of Pokemon who are going to be vulnerable to both of those types. Clodsire has some of the most desired charge attacks in the game, as well as a couple of fast attacks that are going to make it very powerful. But also, it has some incredibly bulky stats that are going to be rivaled by Pokemon like Umbreon and Azumarill. So this Pokemon is definitely going to be extremely useful. Real quick, let's go over the stats of this Pokemon so you have a better understanding of why this Pokemon is so special. Clodsire is a poison and ground type Pokemon. This makes it weak against ground type attacks, ice type attacks, psychic type attacks, and water type attacks. It also has a double resistance to electric and poison type attacks, and a regular resistance to bug, fairy, fighting, and rock type attacks. While it has a lot of different weaknesses, it does have an incredible amount of resistances to some of the most common Pokemon you would come across. Clodsire would essentially be the ultimate answer against fairy type Pokemon, so if you're struggling against fairy types, try adding Clodsire to your team and see how well it performs against those fairy types. This would also make this Pokemon essentially the ultimate counter to Carbink, so if you're actually seeing a bunch of Carbink, Clodsire is going to be your biggest answer. Not that it matters for PvP, but Clodsire is going to be weather boosted by sunny weather and cloudy weather. Now, the base stats for Clodsire include a 127 base attack, a 151 base defense, and 277 base stamina. These stats make it incredibly bulky, especially with that high stamina. This Pokemon is basically going to outlast a lot of different Pokemon, and that's really what makes it very special. Think of it as another bulky Pokemon, kind of like Azumarill, Toxapex, Registeel, Bastiodon, etc. Next, let's move on to its move pool, which actually makes this Pokemon incredibly powerful, even though it's treated as a tank. The fast attacks that Clodsire can come with include Poison Sting and Mud Shot. Now, something notable is that Clodsire at one point had Poison Jab, which would have made it incredibly powerful, but unfortunately this is one of the nerfs that Clodsire received before it was released. Now, in terms of Clodsire's charge attacks, it can come with Earthquake, Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge, Water Pulse, and Acid Spray. At one point, it had the move Surf instead of Water Pulse, and that would have again made it incredibly powerful, but unfortunately, it no longer has access to that charge attack. But regardless, the ideal moves that you should use on Clodsire include Earthquake and Sludge Bomb. Both of these moves deal an incredible amount of damage, and they also benefit from a same type attack bonus. Now, the alternative is of course Stone Edge. You could replace either Sludge Bomb or Earthquake with Stone Edge to get some more type coverage. However, I would actually say that Earthquake and Sludge Bomb is just going to be that much more useful in a variety of more situations. For example, if you're going up against Medicham or Registeel, then Earthquake is going to be a very powerful move against both of those Pokemon. But of course, Sludge Bomb is going to be the absolute best move on Clodsire if you're trying to deal with Pokemon like Fairy types and Grass types. Overall, this is one of the bulkiest Pokemon that's also going to have a lot of offensive capabilities. It's kind of reminiscent of Walrein when it received Icicle Spear. Now, of course, Clodsire also got the move Mega Horn over Community Day, and unfortunately, that move does not deal enough damage and it doesn't benefit from a same type attack bonus. So it's not going to be an ideal move on Clodsire, which is really unfortunate because you would think that with a Community Day, a Pokemon would get a move that would be absolutely ideal, but that just isn't the case with Clodsire. I mean, you could try to run Clodsire with Mega Horn, but Earthquake, Sludge Bomb, and Stone Edge are just going to be so much better, and I really do not suggest you try it out with Mega Horn. And then finally, if you want rank 1 IVs of Clodsire, which is definitely going to be useful considering its bulk, you will want one that is 0 attack, 13 defense, and 15 health. Having these IVs is going to give you the highest stat production, and it's going to make Clodsire even more bulky than it already is. Now, something to keep in mind is that Clodsire is basically built specifically for PvP. It's never going to be good in any PvE situation. But even in PvP, it's going to have its vulnerabilities. Considering that it is going to be weak against ground types and ice types and psychic types, you will want to make sure you have a lot of type coverage behind Clodsire. If you can build yourself a well-rounded team, this Pokemon is going to definitely get you a lot of wins, considering just how powerful it is. So yeah, Clodsire is an absolute menace for the Go Battle League. It may not necessarily be as strong as it once was before the big nerfs, but I have to say this Pokemon is still going to be incredibly useful. It's going to be a much better version of Shadow Nidoqueen, and it's going to have a lot of bulk that's going to make it incredibly difficult to defeat. It also has a lot of really favorable matchups against some of the top meta picks, and that's going to be something that you will want to take into consideration when you're using this Pokemon. Unfortunately, outside of Community Day, I don't know how you could obtain this Pokemon because I don't necessarily believe Paldean Wooper is something you could obtain in the wild. Maybe it will be available in 7km eggs in the future, but as of right now, the only way you could have had this Pokemon is of course through Community Day. But if you ended up missing out on this Community Day, there is going to be the December Recap Community Day, and I'm pretty sure you will have a good chance at getting yourself a good Paldean Wooper for PvP. If you do, you will want to evolve it, and you will want to make sure the moves are not going to include Megahorn. Unfortunately, the Community Day exclusive move actually holds this Pokemon back, although some people will argue that it's actually a pretty good move, but I really do not think Megahorn is the answer. Instead, I think the moves Earthquake and Sludge Bomb are going to do this Pokemon a lot better. So yeah, I just personally am really excited that Niantic is adding more Go Battle League Pokemon that are just actually meta relevant, because for the last couple of Community Days, they've been feeling a little bit lackluster and they really haven't been that impactful to the game. Like, we haven't really had a good PvE Pokemon in a while, and when it comes to PvP Pokemon, I would say the only good one that we've had in the past couple of months is of course Greninja, but even that Pokemon is going to be an edge case. But with Clodsire, I actually think this Pokemon is going to see a lot of play, especially in a meta that is full of Carbinks, Medichams, and Registeels. This Pokemon can deal with all three of them. When I tried out this Pokemon, I put it in a team with Medicham and Sableye, and I have to tell you, the wins came pretty easy. Clodsire was able to deal with a lot of different Pokemon, and of course Medicham is the #1 Go Battle League Pokemon right now, and Sableye is a good all-rounder. So overall, I really think this team is going to be really good. I think the one adjustment I would like to make is of course replacing Sableye with Lickitung, because that 1-2 punch of Medicham and Lickitung is just completely unbeatable right now. I'm just trying to get as much XL candy as I can in order to max out my Lickitung, but yeah, once I do that, I think this team will be solid. Yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to talk about Clodsire. I really do like this Pokemon, but of course, not everyone is interested in PvP. So if you were disappointed by this past Community Day, I would love to know why down below. Do you want to see different Pokemon get added into Pokemon Go that are going to be better for PvE? I would love to have that discussion as well. So if you have those thoughts, make sure you share them so that we can have that good discussion. And thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. If you ended up enjoying it and found it to be informative, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way within Pokemon Go, like with remote raids or the friendship system, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. Also, if you want to support my channel in a non-monetary way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula, and I'm on the following platforms. Alright, and that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.